Okay, next device on the list. What is it? The switch. Remember, we're going from top to bottom. A little different than how I do it, but that's okay. Now, switches you really don't need to configure. You really don't. They work all by themselves. But the only reason you would configure it is because you want to manage them. And you do want to manage them. You do not want to buy unmanaged switches. You want to be able to go in there. So you can create VLANs, VTP domains. You can tweak the STP. You can do a whole bunch of different things on switches. Access list, port security, all these different things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside the switch. We're going to assign, obviously, we're going to give it a host name. We're going to assign two major important things. One, we're going to give it an IP address. And two, we're going to give it a default gateway. Those items right there are extremely important because in order to get into the switch, you need an IP address. And in order to remotely get into the switch, you need a default gateway. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go into the switch. And I'll bring it where you guys can see that. Not that way. Right there. And let's wind this out. There we go. So we got the CLI. All right, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to give it a name. Enable, config T, host name. We'll give it a very generic name, switch 1. All right, now we're going to give it an IP address. All right, so we give the IP address to the VLAN. All switches by default they all have VLAN 1. So we go into int VLAN 1, it acts as an interface, and we go IP address 192.168. Oh, forgot the dot there. Going too fast for my own good. The 1.253 space 255.255.255.0. All right, so now we've assigned VLAN 1 an IP address, which is the IP address of the switch. That's how we would access the switch if we were within that same network. Now, what if we're in a different network? What if we're remote to the switch? As per Cisco, we need to have a default gateway. Well, what's our default gateway for this particular switch? Our router. But in order to put the gateway, we have to be in global configuration. Don't threat. Once we start doing the configurations, all these different modes will come easily. I'm going to exit one time, go back to global configuration, and I'm going to put IP address, and as the address of the actual F00, that's the gateway, 192.168.1.254. And what? I made a mistake here. Oh, I forgot IP. Address. Well, when in doubt, question mark. There's the word IP. So IP, and in this switch I don't see the address. Because you don't need it. It's IP default gateway. Excuse me. IP default gateway. That's what we said we were going to assign. IP default gateway 192.168.1.254. There we go. So when in doubt, when you're confused, a question mark will always save you. Now I have heard that in the test you can type a question mark and you can actually see the commands that are there. But again, I'm thinking IP address, and that's what happened. So now we've actually assigned, and I did Control Z just now, and I'm going to do just a show run. Okay, just to take a look at what I have. And I really haven't done much, but there's my IP address for the VLAN, and there's my default gateway. I haven't done any other configuration besides the host name of switch 1. So there's a lot more configurations to be done. We're just doing something very simple, very easy. But those two right there, the default gateway and the IP address for VLAN 1, are extremely important because you need to access your switches so you can manage your switches and you can tweak your switches the way you want them to work. And in order for you to remotely get to your switches, you need that gateway. You need that gateway. All right. Well, that's it. Oh, one last thing I forgot. Remember how I said that the router's interfaces by default were turned off? Well, guess what? The VLAN 1 by default is turned off. So you need to do a no-shut within VLAN 1. So if you always forget a command, you can always go back into where you were and just do whatever command you forgot to do, and it will take it. So now we're good to go. Now we're okay. So we got an IP address for the switch, we got a default gateway for the switch, and we got a name for the switch. Very simple, very easy, not much to do there. It's a lot to do later on, but for right now, this is it. So next lesson, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the PCs. That's going to be the next lesson that we're going to do. We're going to configure the PCs and we're going to verify connectivity. I'll see you there.